Hold up. Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Shakur Stevenson beats Williams and Payton to become the WBC lightweight champion. Let's talk about it.
Oh, man. Hey, some of y'all were talking your little shit in the comments, but I'm here for it, man, because let me say two things. Was I not right? First of all, we predicted Shakur was going to win. Now, we predicted it was going to be a slow, boring, on his bicycle fight, and he actually did quite the opposite. Now, some of you are saying in the comments, oh, look, all that hating you did just for it to turn out the other way. Let me ask you a question. Was that not more entertaining than the regular fights that Shakur does? In fact, what we did, what people like us did, what everyone has been asking for when they've been booing Shakur is this exact scenario. Listen, Shakur was still defensive, but he was active participant in the fight. It wasn't like we predicted in the fight. It wasn't 1-2 run around. No, he actively stood his ground and fought. And listen, that's what we've been asking for. I'm not saying you can't be defensive. I'm not saying you can't be tactical. I'm not asking for that style to be thrown out at all. What I am asking for, what Turkey Al-Sheikh created a rule for, the reason he's making smaller rings is because nobody likes that. Nobody likes that dancing shit. Nobody likes that running around the ring shit. We like what we saw. And listen, again, go back. We predicted Shakur was going to win. We picked him. We picked Shakur to win. We just don't like boring fights, especially if you're paying for the fight. Do you really want to pay for something where you're falling asleep halfway through? No. So to all you haters hating, we got what we wanted. We were asking for action, and we finally got it from Shakur. And this proves if Shakur ever goes back to that 1 punch, 2 punch, run around the ring, 1 punch, 2 punch, run around, it proves that he's scared because he proved on Saturday that he can fight tactically, defensively, and smart, but still get in there. I referenced and I showed, gave you guys the example of Pretty Boy Floyd. Not Money May, but Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd was tactical, defensive, but the boy got active. And that's what I'm asking for. I don't care if people want to be defensive fighters. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But nobody wants a dance, a bike, run around the ring. It's boring. And again, the whole reason Turkey created this rule where no more running, no more Tom and Jerry, as he says, no more of that, is because nobody wants to see that shit. So whether you guys like it or not, we were right. We're glad. I'm glad. I became a bigger fan. More respect to Shakur for standing his ground and fighting. Now I want to see that boy get the bigger fights. Because nobody likes that running around the ring shit. In fact, one of the reasons Money Mayweather made such a big spectacle of everything outside of the ring because he knew it was boring inside. He had to create this phenomenal abstract performance outside of the ring, the shit talking, the people playing the trumpets, the cheerleaders, all these things that he did throughout the years because he knew that if he didn't have a spectacle, people would not tune in like they were. Nobody wants to see that shit with where you run around and get on your bike all 12 rounds and you cruise to a unanimous decision through a boring fight. The Shakur we saw, that's the epitome of a defensive, tactical, and aggressive fighter. And listen, if he keeps that type of performance up, I'm going to call myself a big fan because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him really get in there and fight. And listen, one other thing happened that proved my point further when we did our initial review of the fight. In the fight, in our review of it, I said the reason Shakur doesn't like to open up and exchange with the other fighters is because one of these days he's going to get cracked and it's going to catch him off guard. What happened in the third round? A stiff jab got through because he was exchanging with Zepeda and it cracked him and it shook him off balance. Now, he didn't go down, respect to him, but proved my point once again. So listen, you guys can hate all you want. I love it. I love it because I was right. And listen, we got a better fight because of all the people like us, like many of y'all, like many of the people that were booing him in his last couple performances. We got what we wanted. A good, interesting, phenomenal fight. That's all we're asking for. And again, if I'm going to be paying to watch a fight, I want to pay and get my money's worth. And that fight got me my money's worth. What do you think about that, my man?
I think this is a tremendous lesson for any boxing casuals and even hardcore boxing fans. The lesson in being able to book a good fight. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that this fight was purposefully booked to make Shakur Stevenson look good or to give Shakur Stevenson an easy win. It has nothing to do with that. I'm saying from the standpoint of Shakur Stevenson is a defensive boxer, is he not? The only person that would make a defensive boxer look good is having a boxer puncher on the other end of the corner in the ring. I remember this was off the record. I remember you were talking to me a long time ago about defensive boxers need boxer punchers. Boxer punchers don't need defensive fighters. And this is the big lesson in that. Shakur Stevenson only looked lackluster in his last couple fights, only because he was up against defensive boxers. And it didn't really make him look good as a result. And that's what we were complaining about, the fact that he would throw the occasional tactical punch to make sure that he was ahead in the scorecards. And again, he ran away with a unanimous decision. Again, good for him. That's his job at the end of the day. But it didn't really look like that much of a spectacle fighter, which means that his marquee value was going to go down. Whether or not he was a good boxer or not, the fact of the matter is he probably wasn't going to get a whole lot of good bookings after that. Now, thanks to William Zepeda, now Shakur Stevenson looks good. Not to say that William Zepeda was only sent out there to be fodder for Shakur Stevenson. William Zepeda, again, he had a record of 33-0 with 27 of those being knockouts. Shakur Stevenson, again, having that on his record definitely puts his resume up, especially with highlight footage such as this. And on that other side of the matter, William Zepeda hopefully got a lot more eyes on him. Not even just by making Shakur Stevenson look good, but now people are starting to pay attention to what kind of fuel William Zepeda actually has. Granted, this might bring him a little bit down in the ranking because he basically lost his one shot at the lightweight championship. But still, at the end of the day, this fight goes to prove that Shakur Stevenson did in fact have it in him. He just needed a good opponent to shine off of him. Shakur Stevenson needed a foil to make him look shinier, and William Zepeda was that perfect foil, and that's what we got. Granted, yes, we were wrong about the Shakur Stevenson being on his bike, but that's because somebody like William Zepeda brought it out. Defensive boxers need boxer punches. Boxer punches don't need defensive. That's what you said a long time ago to me off the record, and this fight is absolutely evident to that. And again, this isn't my whole rant isn't to knock Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is a pretty competent boxer, and this fight basically showed that. I remember there was one comment on the DAZN highlight about the fight in which somebody said to the effect, Shakur Stevenson made William Zepeda look like an amateur. And to be fair, he did. But at the same time, Shakur Stevenson definitely needed William Zepeda in the same way that William Zepeda needed Shakur Stevenson for this fight to make him look good. And at the end of the day, that's all we're talking about with the booking. It's not that Shakur Stevenson was ever a bad boxer or a boring boxer. No, Shakur Stevenson is an incredibly competent boxer. But the problem with defensive boxers, unfortunately, if we're going to be completely real about that, is that he needs the perfect opponent to make him look good. William Zepeda was that person. But what do you think about my analysis on that?
I think before this fight, Shakur was definitely a boring boxer. Y'all, I don't give a shit what any of y'all say. Ain't nobody saying, hey man, throw the Shakur fight on. It wasn't happening. It was boring. But this fight he turned around. And I really hope that Shakur takes this fight as an example of, listen, bro, you don't need to play that defensive shit all the time. Let me backtrack. You don't need to get on your bike all the time. You can stand and trade with these dudes because Zepeda is a decent puncher. So the fact that not only he was standing in the pocket with them, he was trading with them actively, and he was getting the better of Zepeda. Absolutely. The only round I gave to Zepeda personally was the third round, and that's only because obviously that stiff jab got through and he rocked Shakur Stevenson. But every other round, I gave it to Shakur. And good for him. Again, the only thing we were ever asking for was no more boring fights. Who wants to sit there, watch a hug fest, watch a bike fest, watch people hugging and all that other BS for 12 rounds? Nobody wants to see that shit. And the man funding it, he said, I don't want to see that shit. No more Tom and Jerry. No more running around, smaller rings, all that. Good. It's one of the rare times that I actually fully agree with Turkey Al Sheikh. But I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Again, this proved that Shakur doesn't need to fight that boring style that he was fighting before. He fought like a man. He went in there toe-to-toe, and he won. Good. Put on another one. I want to see another performance now like that by Shakur. I was never hating on Shakur as a fighter because even in that video, go back and watch it, I said he's a great boxer. He's just not fun to watch. Now he's fun to watch. Now, if he keeps fighting like this, more people are going to ask to watch him, which means what? He's going to get bigger fights, bigger paydays, the names that he's been looking for, so on and so forth. All the things that he wants are going to come if he continues to fight like this, which is the only thing that we're asking for.
Yeah, what was the thing that I said in my argument? I was like, it's not that Shakur Stevenson isn't a competent boxer. He is. But being competent and being a marquee value don't exactly equate to the same thing. If you have dub after dub after dub, cool, but people are gonna look at those dubs in context and you're like, yeah, but he ran away most of that fight. Like, let's be real. Having something like this, it brings more marquee value, and again, that's what people at the end of the day want to see. If this guy had like 46-0, but he was like a defensive boxer all the time, got no wins, was all by unanimous decision, are people gonna be willing to pay for that ticket? Not really. If he brings out more slugfest like this, but still keep that defensive style, of course people are going to line up for tickets to bring that up. That's what marquee value means at the end of the day. If they see Shakur Stevenson on a billboard right here, the big question at the end of the day is, are people going to line up for the box office? And fights like this is definitely going to bring the value to the name Shakur Stevenson.
Exactly. That's all we were asking for. Just fight. You're a boxer. Fight. That's all we're asking for. Don't get on your goddamn bike. And listen, again, shout out to Shakur. Shout out to Shakur. He did his thing. Not only, again, he did all the things we were looking for, he won in style. Again, I give Zepeda a single round. That's it. That's the difference. Again, go back and watch the previous video. I said from the beginning, I'm not, whether I have a dog in the fight or not, I'm going to call it down the middle. And Shakur won every single round, in my opinion, won every single round minus the third. That was the one round that I give to Zepeda. Every other round, clearly Shakur took it. Landing the more effective hits, counter-punching perfectly. There was a point where I believe Shakur was actually landing more power shots. All that good stuff. So shout out to him. But again, we were right because this is what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. Glad we finally got it. And don't lie to yourselves. Don't lie to us like you didn't like seeing this type of fight other than the bike thing. You know you guys loved it. This is more fun. This is more exciting because you don't know what's going to happen. Someone could get knocked out at any moment. We love to see it. I hope Shakur stays on this path because if he does, I'm going to be considering myself a big fan. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next